My father insisted I quit my dream job to take care of him. Because it's my responsibility. When I refused, he disowned me and spread rumors that I was heartless. He shouted, "You owe me your life." I replied, "You don't own my life, or my choices." This happened a few years ago, and I've never talked about it in detail. I wasn't sure if anyone would believe it. But after seeing similar posts here, I figured maybe it's time. I, 34 male back then, was living in Seattle and working at what I can honestly call the best job I ever had. I was a systems analyst for a mid-sized tech company. Good salary, good people, great schedule. I wasn't rich, but I was finally comfortable. It took me almost a decade to get there after bouncing around in crappy apartments, freelance gigs, and toxic jobs. I earned every bit of it. I thought I was finally on track. Then came the phone call. "Come home." Now. It was from my dad, 62. He lived alone in Vancouver, Washington, about 2.5 hours away. We weren't super close, but I called and visited when I could. He said his back had given out, and he couldn't get out of bed. He made it sound like it was an emergency, so I took a sick day and drove down immediately. When I got there, he was watching TV in the living room. No walker. No brace. No signs of anything serious. He was just sitting there with a heating pad and some pain meds. When I asked what happened, he said, "I felt a sharp pain this morning. Couldn't move. But I took some ibuprofen, and it got better." I asked if he wanted to see a doctor. He said no. I asked why he called me in such a panic. He shrugged and said, "It was scary. I didn't want to die alone." Okay. I stayed the night, did his grocery shopping, picked up his meds, cleaned the kitchen, and made some freezer meals. The next morning, I told him I had to head back for work. He looked annoyed. Not sad. Not tired. Annoyed. "You're just going to leave again?" he asked. "I have to work, Dad." You always have an excuse. Your mother would be ashamed. For context, my mom passed away 5 years ago. Cancer. She and my dad had divorced when I was 15. She left because he was controlling, and she wanted to finally live for herself. I didn't argue. I just left. That was the start of everything falling apart. Over the next few weeks, the phone calls increased. He started calling every other day. Each time, it was some new problem. Couldn't lift the laundry basket, burned his toast, leg cramps, couldn't find the TV remote. He acted like each thing was a near-death experience. At first, I was sympathetic. I'd drive down some weekends to help out. I brought groceries. I fixed his broken doorknob. I replaced the batteries in his smoke detector. I offered to set him up with a part-time caregiver. But every time I mentioned outside help, he refused. "I don't want strangers in my house. That's what I have you for. You're my son. You're supposed to take care of me." Eventually, he stopped pretending. He called one night around 10 p.m., sounding completely normal. "I've been thinking," he said. "You should move back home." I actually laughed. I thought he was joking. He wasn't. "You live alone. No wife. No kids. What are you even doing up there? You sit at a computer all day. That's not a real job. You can do that from here." "Dad, no. That's not going to happen." "Why not?" "Because I have a life in Seattle. A job. A girlfriend. Friends. I've built something there." "So you're going to abandon your own father for strangers? You don't need full-time care. You need company. That's different." He got quiet. Then he said it. "I gave you life. You owe me yours." That line hit hard. I didn't know how to respond. We argued for over an hour. He yelled. I stayed calm but firm. I told him I'd continue helping in ways that made sense, but I wasn't going to destroy everything I'd worked for just to sit in his living room and fetch him aspirin. He exploded. "You think you're better than me?" "No, I just want to live my own life." "Well, you can forget about this family then. You're not my son anymore." He hung up. The next few days were quiet. I didn't call him, and he didn't call me. Then the calls from relatives started. At first, it was just my Aunt Lou, his sister. She called to say she was sorry things had gotten so tense. I asked her what she meant. "He told me you screamed at him and told him to rot alone." I was stunned. I told her the real version. She got awkward and ended the call. Then more people started reaching out, cousins I barely talked to, an uncle in Texas, even a former neighbor. My dad had been calling everyone, saying I had abandoned him, that I was heartless, that he was in serious medical danger, and I refused to help. He said he'd cried for hours after I left. He made himself the victim in every story. He told people I made fun of his back pain, that I only visited to judge him, and that I'd yelled that I hoped he died soon. None of this happened. Not one word. But people believed him. Because he's charming. He knows how to play victim. He knows how to cry on cue and sound humble. Some of my relatives stopped replying to my messages. Some unfriended me on social media. My own godfather left a voicemail saying, "You've turned into someone I don't recognize." I stopped calling. I stopped visiting. I went full no contact for a month. Then one day, my boss called me into her office. "Did you really quit?" I blinked. "What?" "We got an email from your address. It said you were resigning immediately due to a family emergency." I felt the blood drain from my face. I checked the email. It looked like mine, but the signature was off. A few typos. It was fake. I told her what had happened. Luckily, she believed me. IT traced the IP. It came from Vancouver. It was him. He had made a fake email and tried to quit my job for me. That was it. I locked down every account. Changed every password. Locked down my credit. I got a lawyer. I had a cease and desist sent to his house. I told my company everything. They offered to let me work remotely full-time if I needed to leave the state for a while. I considered it. My girlfriend stood by me. Her parents offered to let me stay with them. But I didn't run. Instead, I decided to fight back. I wasn't going to let him ruin me. That's when the real revenge started. After I locked everything down, I thought he'd stop. I really did. But I underestimated just how far he'd go. This wasn't about care anymore. This wasn't about needing help. This was about control. And he wasn't done. A few weeks after the fake resignation stunt, I got a call from my bank. They flagged a suspicious deposit. Someone had tried to cash a check using my name. A big one, $9,800. They caught it because the signature didn't match. It wasn't even close. I rushed to the bank in person and looked at the photocopy. It was my dad's handwriting. He didn't even try to disguise it. He'd signed my name like a 5-year-old writing on a birthday card. And he wrote, "For medical support," in the memo line. He had a copy of one of my old checks from when I used to help him with bills. I guess he thought he could get away with it because we had shared documents before. I called my lawyer again. This time, we didn't just send a letter. We filed a police report. 2 days later, a Vancouver PD officer visited him. I wasn't there, but I later got the report. He denied everything, of course. Said I gave him the check, said it was an agreement between father and son. But they had the handwriting, the fake signature, the bank footage of a man who looked exactly like him wearing the same jacket he'd worn in Facebook pictures. The bank wanted to press charges. My lawyer agreed. He was issued a court summons for attempted fraud. Now he wasn't just angry. He was cornered. That's when the letter showed up. No return address. Just my name on the envelope, handwritten. Inside was a typed letter. It looked professional, like something from a therapist's office. It said things like, "You need to forgive your father before it's too late. He made mistakes, but your soul is in danger if you hold on to hate. A man who abandons his parent will be abandoned in his time of need." It also included a small photo of me and my mom from when I was a kid. That photo was never online. It was from a photo album at his house. He was trying to guilt me anonymously. I laughed when I read it. Then I called my lawyer and added it to the evidence folder. Here's where it gets weird. I got a call from a cousin who hadn't blocked me. She said, "I just heard. I'm so sorry about your dad." I froze. "What are you talking about?" She said, "His obituary is going around. Says he passed last night." I checked online. Nothing. Then I checked Facebook. Boom. There it was, a post from one of his friends. "R.I.P. to a great man. He died broken-hearted, betrayed by the one person he gave everything to. I hope peace finds him." It got shared. Dozens of comments. Condolences. People tagging me with things like, "Hope you're proud." I called the hospital. No record. I called the police department. No report. He wasn't dead. He faked his own death. He literally staged his death on Facebook to try and destroy me emotionally and socially. This should have been the end. But here's the part one didn't see coming. Turns out, while he was busy pretending to be a corpse online, he'd been talking to my boss again. He emailed her again from a different fake account, this time pretending to be a concerned family member. The email said I was under a lot of stress. That I was mentally unstable. And that the family was worried I might lash out at coworkers. He said I needed A break from work. For everyone's safety. It was full of manipulative phrases like, "We don't want another tragedy like what happened with his mother." That part stung. He weaponized my mother's death. Luckily, my boss had seen enough. She forwarded the email straight to me and HR. They were furious. They told me they were on my side and that any further contact from fake accounts would be reported directly to authorities. But that day something shifted in me. This wasn't just personal anymore. This man had tried to kill my reputation, my job, my peace of mind, and now he was dragging my dead mother into it. I knew what I had to do next. I didn't call Marissa right away. I sat on that letter for a week. Then 2. Then I stared at it at 2 a.m., feeling like I couldn't breathe unless I knew what else he lied about. I dialed her number with shaking hands. She picked up like she'd been waiting. We talked for 3 hours that night. She told me things I didn't expect. Some I didn't want to believe. She said he talked about having a son he was proud of. That I was in government and couldn't talk about what I did because it was confidential. That I sacrificed everything to take care of him. She thought I was some kind of CIA agent. She said he cried when he talked about me. But then she told me something that made my stomach flip. He had another son. Not adopted. Not step. His blood. Born 2 years before me. In California. He never told anyone in our family. She found out after digging through his stuff when he left one of his duffel bags behind in a rush. She saw a birth certificate. Different name. Same father. Same birthmark on the right wrist. He had another son. And he lied to us both. I needed answers. I asked Marissa to send me a copy of the birth certificate. She did. I tracked him down through Facebook. Name was Landon. Lived in Modesto. HVAC technician. Married. 2 kids. Balding. Beard. Looked like me. I sent him a message. It took a day, but he replied. He never met our dad. Said his mom raised him alone. Said she called him a ghost. A man who vanished once she got pregnant. Landon never even knew he had a half-brother until I messaged him. We met up halfway in a diner near Eugene, Oregon. Neutral ground. It was weird. Like sitting across from a version of me that made all the opposite choices. He had a family. A house. Sunday football. I had a career, a 1-bedroom, and trust issues. But he was kind. Honest. No judgment. We talked for 5 hours. Then we made a plan. We showed up together. His apartment was now in a rundown complex. Rusted stair rails. Dead plants on the balcony. He opened the door and froze. Looked at Landon, then me, like he was seeing a ghost and a mirror at the same time. Who's this? He asked, voice flat. I said, your first son. He looked at Landon. Then back at me. You shouldn't have come here. But we walked in. He tried to deny it. Said it was a one-night thing. And he didn't know. Landon pulled out the birth certificate. You knew. You never wanted me. Landon said. You could have said something. But you ran. My father sat down on the couch like someone unplugged him. Then he broke. He didn't cry. Not really. But he looked small. Like the fight had finally drained out of him. I wasn't ready, he said. Not for 1 kid, let alone 2. I tried to do right by you, but I always felt like a failure. So you lied? I said. So you stole? So you tried to burn down my life, just so I'd stay with you? I didn't know how to be alone. You made yourself alone. The room went quiet. Then he said something I didn't expect. I don't hate you. I just hated that you didn't need me. And there it was. Everything he did, the manipulation, the lies, the guilt, the fake emails, the fake obituary, all of it was because I stopped needing him. I saw Landon clench his jaw. He stood up. You could have had 2 sons. But you lost us both. We walked out together. He didn't follow. The next week was rough. He tried calling. Left long voicemails. Said he wanted to talk. That he was sorry. I didn't respond. Landon didn't either. His church kicked him out formally. The fraud investigation hit local news. His face was on TV for a 30-second segment with the headline, Veteran accused of fraud in multiple states. He was evicted 2 months later. I heard through a cousin that he moved in with a former friend somewhere in Idaho. No one knows exactly where. Aunt Lou called me. She said she owed me an apology. That she believed his lies because it was easier than facing who he really was. I should have asked for your side. I'm sorry. A few of my cousins reached out too. Quiet apologies. Some embarrassed, some just silent. My boss called me into her office and told me she admired how I handled things. Said she'd never seen someone stand their ground like that under pressure. Even Pastor Malcolm called again. He said, "You did what had to be done." He built his house on sand. Now, things are calm. Landon and I talk every week. He calls me brother, and means it. Marissa and I exchange emails sometimes. She's seeing a therapist now. Said she finally feels like she escaped something she didn't even know she was trapped in. My credit is locked, my passwords are longer, and I've stopped waiting for apologies. I kept my job. My girlfriend and I got engaged last year. We're moving to a new place next month. He hasn't called in over a year. People say, blood is thicker than water. But that's not the whole quote. The full saying is, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. It means chosen bonds, trust, friendship, love, are stronger than family ties by birth alone. I understand that now. I don't feel hate. I don't even feel sad anymore. I feel free. He told me once, "You owe me your life." And I told him, "You don't own my life, or my choices." And I meant it.